one fish, not a boatload, not a stringer of lunkers, not even a trophy, just one fish. One little fish. What's one little fish worth? I'm not asking about a king salmon or a rainbow trout. My inquiry is concerning a dolly. What's one Dolly Varden char worth? One spring, Easton and I got the desire to go fishing. We knew we were pushing the season a bit, but we just couldn't wait to get out. A call to Craig Ketchum, and a day later we were at one of Ketchum's Kenai Lake cabins. We had fishing on our minds, and even before gear was put in the cabin, we had the boat motor installed and were heading for the spot Craig had advised. 2 loons crossed our intended route to the fish, and we slowed to let them pass. Alternately, one would dive, apparently searching for food, and the other stood guard. We forgot fishing for a moment and stopped to watch and listen. As we watched the loons, we became aware of spring's first green appearing on the bushes and trees along the shore, and realized it was the beginning of summer. After a time, we started the outboard and moved on, leaving that part of the lake to the loons. Craig advised us to troll the edges of one of the lake's islands. As we throttled down, a movement on shore attracted our gaze. There she stood, a huge cow moose staring at us from the protection of a small swamp spruce. We stopped, killed the engine, drifted with the afternoon breeze, and watched. Deciding we presented no threat, she moved toward the lake shore. Trying to follow, almost walking between her back legs, was a newborn calf. We were perhaps witnessing his first steps. The breeze, gently, slowly, pushed us away from Mama Moose, and we watched as she disappeared with her offspring into the cover of spruce, birch, and brush. Our earlier near panic of getting to the fishing, slowed by loons and moose, now moved to a pace almost matching the speed of the greening of the trees. For some reason, it seemed better to just move slowly and see what other pleasant surprises our fly-in lake held. Before we reached Craig's selected spot, we saw 2 more loons. A flock of geese were veeing north, groups of ducks made low passes overhead and moved on. A pair of mergansers worked the lake shore. Small birds called out their warning and greeting. A couple of hours passed before we set up our rods. We took our time, tied the swivels on with knots like we were pros. Easton captained the boat and I set out our lines, one on each side over the gunwales. I handed Easton his rod, and he was soon playing pull and tug with a little fish, a little dolly about 12 or 14 inches. We'd missed lunch, stopping to buy licenses and hurrying to meet Craig's takeoff time. Evening arrived with the landing of the dolly, and being hungry, we decided to use the season's first fruits for supper. Easton cleaned his catch, and we wrapped it in strips of bacon and fried it between slices of potatoes. Other foods were added and dinner was served. The best fish we'd ever eaten. Next morning, we took out the .22 rifle and killed 4 soda pop cans with 2 boxes of bullets. It took about 3 hours for the bullets to disappear and the cans to succumb. We motored around the lake and became better acquainted with its resident Mama Moose and her calf, the loons and the mergansers. We forgot to fish. And then Craig came to pick us up. Since that day, Easton and I rarely have a fish dinner or even talk about fishing that the conversation doesn't end up at the dolly dinner wrapped in strips of bacon, served with fried potatoes and eaten at twilight in Ketchum's Kenai cabin. What's a little dolly worth? I know one that's worth plenty, gets more precious every day, and will increase in value after I'm gone and Easton tells his children, my grandchildren, about the spring he fished with his dad on Alaska's Kenai Peninsula and the dolly who came to dinner.
When you go outdoors, take a young person with you and teach them by your example what it means to be a sportsman. Behind the wheel or in the boat or on the road or in the lake, take the high trail and practice ethics of fair chase. Goodbye and good luck. May God bless you in the land of the midnight sun, and may your days be happy and long in Alaska's outdoors.